You ever look at something so beige it makes your soul itch? That's how my war with the Crestwood Commons HOA began. One envelope, heavy linen paper. The kind that smells like smugness changed everything. Brenda Hernandez. Our self-appointed queen of conformity said my chain-link fence was non-compliant and had 30 days to disappear. 30 days to erase the only thing keeping my basset hound from wandering off into traffic. I stood there reading that letter while Buster drooled on my shoes and thought, is this woman serious? She even taped color swatches to the back premium beige, elegant, Grega timeless taupe, every shade of lifeless. I could almost hear her voice in my head. Gary, your fence offends the neighborhood's visual harmony. I showed the letter to my wife, Sarah. She didn't even look up from the pile of bills. What did you do this time? She sighed. Apparently, I violated the sacred code of beige. How much to replace it, she asked. $5,000, I said. For plastic. Beige plastic. She sighed again, that long, tired kind of sigh that says, please, just don't make this worse. That night, I sat in my garage surrounded by dusty tools and bad ideas, wondering if I'd finally lost. I could ignore the letter and get fined into oblivion, or pay $5,000 to please a woman who laminates her live, laugh, love signs. I felt small, cornered. Maybe Brenda was right. Maybe I was the neighborhood's problem. Then I saw them stacked in the back corner like a neon relic from my youth skis, snowboards old gear from when I actually had knees that worked. It hit me like a caffeine rush. I grabbed the HOA rulebook and flipped to the section on fencing. Band, materials, chain link, barbed wire, plywood, corrugated tin, plastic sheeting. Nowhere did it say fiberglass sporting equipment. I grinned. Buster, I whispered, we're going to comply so hard they'll regret ever sending that letter. The next 2 weeks turned me into a scavenger king. I raided garage sales Facebook marketplace, even a ski shop dumpster. I told every confused seller the same thing, I'm not skiing, I'm building a masterpiece. My garage became a mountain of neon, lime green, hot pink, cobalt blue. Every board and ski a middle finger to conformity. Of course I needed help. Most contractors hung up the second I said ski fence until I found Sal, an old-school builder with a cigarette glued to his lip and a voice like gravel. You serious, kid? He asked. Dead serious. He shrugged. I once built a chicken coop out of trampolines. I'm in. But you buy the beer. We started on Monday. Sal's crew drilled deep holes, set 4x4 posts in concrete, and handed me an impact driver. You're the art director, he said. Together we bolted those skis and boards side by side, tips pointing to the sky like a jagged rainbow wall. We'd just finished the front section when I heard the slow click of expensive sandals. Brenda, marching across the street in her visor and tennis skirt, frozen mid-step like she'd seen a crime scene. Gary, she hissed, what is this? My new fence, I said brightly, completely compliant. Recycled, too. Isn't that your favorite thing? She pointed at it like it was radioactive. This is garbage. Vintage, I corrected. That's a 1998 Burton Asim Air. Classic. Her face turned plum. You'll be hearing from the committee. That night, she kicked me from the neighborhood chat. The next day, I got a certified letter, a cease and desist, calling my creation the abomination. It demanded removal within 48 hours. I laughed so hard, Buster started barking. But then, doubt crept in. Maybe I'd gone too far. What if she really could fine me into bankruptcy? I called Sal. Hey, how safe is this thing really, kid? He said you could tie a battleship to that fence. Can you write that down? He chuckled. 10 minutes later, an official letter arrived. Structurally sounder than Brenda Hernandez's deck. Licensed and insured. I printed it, laminated it poster size, and zip-tied it right to the front. 2 hours later, the police showed up. I stepped out with my coffee. Afternoon, officers. You here to admire the craftsmanship? Sir, the older one said, trying not to smile. We got a call about an unsafe structure and illegal dumping. They knocked on the board solid. The younger cop's eyes lit up. Is that a LibTech banana board? Dude, classic. Brenda stormed over in her robe, waving her arms. It's dangerous. It's ugly. Ma'am, the officer said it's on his property. It's not falling and it's honestly impressive. He turned to me. Nice fence, sir. Brenda's jaw dropped. The cops left. She stood there trembling out of ammunition. But she wasn't done. 2 days later, every mailbox in Crestwood had a fluorescent pink notice. Emergency HOA meeting. The fence issue. That night, the clubhouse was packed. You could smell tension and cheap coffee. Brenda strutted to the front in a red blazer, fired up a projector, and clicked to a grainy photo of my fence titled in Comic Sans The Abomination. This structure, she declared, is a mockery of our community, a hazard to children, a threat to property values. I raised my hand. Question: which section of the bylaws bans snowboards? This is not a Q&A, Gary, because I've got the whole document here. I held up my spiral-bound copy pages bristling with tabs. It bans chain-link plywood tin plastic. Nothing about fiberglass, nothing about sporting equipment. So, technically, I tapped the mic. I'm the most compliant man in Crestwood. She sputtered, turning red. It violates harmony. That's subjective, Brenda. Harmony's in the eye of the beholder. The crowd chuckled. Then Ted, quiet Ted from down the block, stood up. You know what's funny? He said. You didn't care about Gary's old rusty fence for 5 years. Not until he put that campaign sign in his yard last fall. Silence. The air snapped. Brenda blinked. That has nothing to do with... But it did. People started shouting. My basketball hoop's been banned for 3 years. She made me repaint my door 3 times. She measured my lawn with a ruler. The room erupted. Someone started chanting, "Ski fence! Ski fence!" Brenda slammed the table, her laser pointer trembling. Order. No one listened. The rebellion had begun. Her little beige empire was collapsing in real time. Finally, with a strangled cry, she shut her laptop, grabbed her projector, and fled the clubhouse. The door slammed. Applause broke out. The next morning, she resigned by email citing irreconcilable aesthetic differences. A week later, a for sale sign appeared in front of her house. No one replaced her. The HOA quietly disintegrated, just a committee name on paper. My fence stayed. People drove by to take pictures. The local paper called it the Crestwood Wall of Freedom. Someone hung an old ski boot from it like an offering. Another left a pair of goggles. The fence had become a shrine to rebellion, to color, to the right to not be beige. I still stand by the window sometimes, coffee in hand, watching snow settle on the bright boards. Sarah will join me smiling despite herself. It's ridiculous, she'll say, but kind of beautiful. She's right, it's both. Because sometimes to stand up to petty tyranny you don't need a lawyer or a protest. You just need a fence and the nerve to make it neon.